Well, hello. Welcome to the show. The impromptu show. That's going to be like kind of short, but it's going to be good, I think. So, hi Zach.
Hey.
Yeah, I think we'll find out. I'm supposed to be doing some tech work at 6, so
Yikes.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's hop into, actually, you know what? Because I've forgotten to do it the last couple times, let's roll the open real quick here. So it's going to be a short show this week, but that's okay. So anyway, so do you use Microsoft Office for like all your word processing needs, or do you use Google Apps?
I mean, I don't really do much word processing these days, but I would definitely use one of the two if I was needing to do word processing.
For all like our Tech B Media stuff?
I don't know. I mean, let's see. Google is nice. I like Google, but I also like having things local. And since my copy Office just decided to like reactivate itself for some reason, I may or may not use it in the future, I guess, if I need to do some word processing.
I see.
Office is not something like, obviously we got Office for free through the college.
Oh yeah, yep.
For a few years at least, but I would not pay the asking price for Office. It's ridiculous. It's like $150 if you want a permanent, yours forever copy of Office for one computer. Like,
right. So actually, no, you can use it on more than one system, I think.
I'm talking about a yours forever sort of copy.
Yeah, I think you can use it on more than one computer. I think there are options out there. Anyway, there's weird ways to get around it. Whether they're legal or not, yeah, but there's ways around it.
Oh, of course there's those sort of ways to get around pretty much everything.
Well,
but if we want to stay within the boundaries of the legal system, we also, can just go download like LibreOffice or OpenOffice.
Hold on.
Much get the same functionality for free.
Hold on. Hang on. Hold on. Okay, so here's where we're going with this. So, editing Microsoft Office files in Google Docs, which, by the way, Google Docs is free, is a pain, however, though. You can view them there, but you previously had to convert them into, like, a Google format for you to be able to edit them and comment and do other things like that inside the docs. But actually, that's about to change.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Google just announced that they're adding native support for Microsoft's Word, Excel, and PowerPoint formats like DLCX, XLS, and PPT, which will let you do real-time collaborations in Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, while theoretically still keeping it in that format. So
that's cool, I guess.
Right! So somebody sends you...
honestly, I never even knew that the format had to change.
Yeah, you could always upload them.
Yeah, and not only that, but you can export them as whatever you want too. So I don't.
Right, but you can't.
I'm missing the.
You can't. So let's say you have a DOX or DOCX file there. You have to convert it into a Google Doc before you can actually make edits to it, and then you could export it back as a DOCX. Right, but now what they're saying is that you can just upload the DOCX and actually just edit it. And then...
So they're just eliminating us.
Right. Yeah, they're eliminating you having to convert it into a different format and then reconvert it back into that format again. Which is actually pretty cool.
Sure, why not?
So, the other day, Google announced support will be coming to the commercial versions of those apps right now. So that's going to be the G Suite stuff. But the company now tells The Verge that they're coming to regular users too as soon as this month. G Suite customers should see support start to roll out in April or May, depending on which release schedule your company is actually using. So, yeah. And Google announced that it would let you create and collaborate on Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides files to Dropbox Business as well. So that's kind of a cool little thing. Google, just, moving the world forward,
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway. Ooh. Okay, well, we're moving right through these topics, so... but there's some other stuff I wanted to talk about in a bit, so let's do this real quick here. It's time for the Microsoft news. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I just found out something interesting. I might need to switch some hotkeys around. So I had the web browser up, and I was hitting the button for to make the transitions happen. And it started increasing the size of my web browser text.
Uh-oh.
I must have it set as that combination. So, normally I don't have like a web browser up. Like normally I'm clicked into the OBS window, so that's never usually a problem. But anyway, let's talk about Microsoft though. Microsoft has started notifying some Outlook.com users that a hacker was able to access accounts for months earlier this year.
Well, that sucks.
Yep. So the software giant discovered that a support agent's credentials were compromised from its webmail service, allowing unauthorized access to some accounts between January 1st and March 28th, 2019. Now, Microsoft says the hackers could have viewed account email addresses, folder names, and subject lines of emails, but not the content of the emails or attachments. Okay, I guess that's kind of good, but like still, like email addresses on the black market, I'm pretty sure those sell.
They definitely do, yeah.
So anyway,
the thing that sucks is like, you can't really fault Microsoft too much for this. You kind of have to pin it on the person who got their credentials compromised, because
right, okay, but hold on,
unless I'm missing some information.
Well, okay, I would imagine Microsoft is big. Well, Google too, but Microsoft as big of a company as they are. Come on, Zach. Two-factor authentication here. Just saying.
Say what?
I'm pretty sure Microsoft's going to have, like, two-factor authentication as a thing here.
Oh, you think... Oh. Well, I mean, I guess you could say that. That's an interesting...
Like, I mean...
you're kind of right. I bet a lot of employees would quite resist that change, but...
Well, no, I would imagine Microsoft would probably make users do that as like a normal part of the practice. You know what I mean? I don't know. Some companies like enforce that you have to use two-factor authentication to log into services. Heck, like our email stuff that we have for Tech Beam Media, I just haven't turned it on for you guys, but I could force you guys to actually use two-factor authentication before you log in. So, and I'm pretty sure G Suite does that too.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I did not think about that.
Right. So,
Maybe then you could say that they are sort of at fault.
Right. But, well, here's the other thing, though. January 1st to March 28th, that's a long time for them to not know what's going on their systems. How the frick does this always happen?
That too.
So, to say that Microsoft is not at fault here, I'm going to call
fully not at
fault. Oh, fully,
I would
okay.
Say maybe they're less at fault than we'd like to make fun of.
Yeah, but like still, this is the part that gets me every time, is how the frick do you not know what's happening on your own systems? And for that long. That is the part that never makes sense to me. Like, I don't know, packet tracers are a thing. And I don't know, I would imagine that there has to be some kind of audit system. I don't know. You know, this is why companies make you change your password like every 3 months.
Well, how about just the fact that somebody from a weird IP address probably logged into it?
Right, exactly. So, you know, this is why, and Outlook.com obviously is a little bit different, I would imagine. But, like, this is why certain aspects of, like, my employer's, stuff is only accessible if you're running through, well, actually, I don't think it's even through a VPN. I think it's just because the stores are supposed to have static IP addresses. And if the stores don't have static IP addresses, it creates a bunch of problems, because basically what they do, as far as I understand, they basically add the IP address to like a list, like a whitelist basically, and say, hey, these IP addresses can actually access the server.
Right.
So, I don't know if Microsoft has a way of doing that somehow, where only the backend is accessible through, like, Microsoft's, like, network or something like that, but I don't know. But that's another security step that could be taken if that's possible. So, now here's the best part. It's not clear how many users have been affected by the breach. That's convenient.
Oh, here we go again.
Or who was involved in obtaining access to Outlook.com email accounts. Quote, our data indicates that account-related information, but not the content of any emails, could have been viewed, but Microsoft has no intention or indication why that information was viewed or how it may have been used, says Microsoft in an email to affected users. This is like the PR part right here now. So, oh man. The hackers weren't able to steal login details. Okay, that's good. Or other personal information, but out of caution, Microsoft is recommending that affected users reset their passwords. No, really?
Problem.
Microsoft regrets any inconvenience caused by this issue, says the security notification. Please be assured that Microsoft takes data protection very seriously and has engaged in internal security and privacy terms in the investigation and resolution of the issue, as well as additional hardening of systems and processes to prevent such reoccurrence. Why is it always after that they add that? Like, why wasn't this a thing to begin with? Or is it simply, oh, we didn't know we had a vulnerability in the system? Or is it, oh, security by obscurity? I honestly don't know which one it is, but, like, come on. Like,
yeah, I mean, it sucks because it's like when you have to protect against this stuff, you have the harder job than the person who wants to steal the information, because the person who wants to steal the information can fail to get the information as many times as necessary before they succeed. But the person protecting the information,
they have to succeed all the
cannot
time.
Fail what?
Yeah.
They cannot fail a single time, or else they have to do their job.
Exactly. Yeah, so the security incident comes weeks after a former security researcher pled guilty to hacking into Microsoft and Nintendo servers. Oh, that's awesome. Microsoft's Windows development servers were breached for a number of weeks in January 2017, allowing hackers across Europe to access pre-released versions of Windows. Okay. Microsoft... I'm sorry. Having pre-released versions of Windows... With the way Windows is gone these days...
Like, that's a good...
Right!
Like, you can have your files erased before everyone...
I love that. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you want us to have your telemetry data before anybody else? Sure, we'll take it. Microsoft confirmed the breach in a subtle statement to The Verge, but the company isn't revealing exactly how many accounts were affected. Again, no surprise there. We addressed this scheme, which affected a limited subset of consumer accounts, by disabling the compromised credentials and blocking, the perpetrator's access, says a Microsoft spokesperson. Cool. Interesting. Well, that's a thing that happened this week in tech news.
Lovely.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so graphics cards. Let's talk about those real quick. Specifically, NVIDIA graphics cards. So what's the new the new like shiny with RTX now. What's the big selling point, Zach?
Ray tracing?
Yeah, ray tracing. Guess what? You can now test drive ray tracing on your GTX graphics cards with NVIDIA's new driver that they just released.
At like 2 FPS, you can test drive it.
Right. NVIDIA has released a new driver that allows ray tracing effects to be switched on in GeForce GTX 10 and 16 series graphics cards such as the GTX 1080 and the GTX 1660. Oh, I don't know if yours would do that.
I can't even do that.
Because you have a 980 Ti.
I have a 900.
Wait. How is your graphics card better than me if my graphics card has more numbers than yours does? Does it? Because I've got a 1060.
Wow, I don't know.
How does that work?
Because the first number is like the generation only, and then after that is.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so they're doing the whole like AMD and Intel thing. Get your 9000, 9740K or something like that, or yeah, whatever. You know what I mean. But anyway, so ray tracing is a resource-intensive feature that makes rendering lighting, shadows, and reflections in real time look more realistic. And thanks to new DirectX ray tracing support, you'll be able to test it out with the painfully small batch of games that have actually adopted ray tracing. I'm sorry.
The problem is that ray tracing on lighting effects, sure, it looks pretty good, right? But the performance cost is so huge. And it doesn't even look that good. It looks decent, but it's not worth the cost. Not only that, but the cost to purchase a card that supports it.
You know what? So I was thinking the other day. So I went into Best Buy to go look at graphics cards because they're selling them now, at least in my store here. And I was just curious to see.
Since forever, as far as I know.
I was curious to see what the price was going to be of a GTX, 1080 Ti. They don't even make them anymore. And so
yeah, that's why you go on.
Well, yeah, but now the fact that they don't make them anymore has caused the prices to skyrocket on them. I thought it was going to be, huh?
It really should.
Well, no, because now people want them for whatever reason. So now that they're unattainable, now that you can't buy. See, because here's my thought process. I thought they were going to be really cheap because everyone was going to want, 2080s.
Well, I think some problems that surfaced with the 2000 series were causing the price of ATIs to spike.
I don't know, your graphics card spontaneously bursting into flames.
That'll do it.
That raised an interesting question too. So let's say your new GTX 9 or 2080 catches on fire, right? And so obviously your system's on fire now. It's probably going to take components with it. Who replaces those components? Does NVIDIA replace, or not necessarily NVIDIA, but let's say it was an MSI card or something. Does MSI then reimburse you for the other components?
You know what it is? It's a mess. That's what it is.
Right.
I don't think there's a definitive answer to the question either.
But that's an interesting question though, is who has to then cough up the money for, the components that were damaged? Is it obviously MSI, whoever the manufacturer is at that point, is obligated to replace the card for you at that point?
And they will probably do their level best to do only that.
Right. But from a user standpoint, okay, well, your product lit the rest of my system on fire. So
I'm not disputing that at all.
Right.
I'm saying that they're going to.
Yeah, exactly. But this is my counterpoint here. I'm playing devil's advocate here now, where I'm like seriously, you're probably gonna need a new motherboard. You might need a new processor.
Destroyed the rest of my.
Yeah, you've destroyed the rest of my system. You better be giving me some money for some new components here. So, but anyway, so I guess I've heard that this new update, or I guess it's kind of making the cards a little bit better in terms of their performance, I guess maybe a little bit, but it's not great because they're not designed for ray tracing. You know what I mean?
They're not. Yeah, there is actually specialized hardware that does the ray tracing. So it does make sense that they're terrible at it.
Oh wow! So Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 2560 by 1440 with high DXR. GTX 1060. Any guesses on how many FPS you're gonna get?
Is it more than 10?
It is more than 10, but not by much.
Oh, 12 then.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, not surprised.
If you have a 1080 Ti, you're gonna be you'll get 34 frames per second.
I mean, that does fall above the quote-unquote playable point for a lot.
Right, but it's not.
A lot of people say that 30 is playable, but it's
realistically, you're probably, if you're turning on ray tracing, you're probably turning it on a low or medium setting at best.
If you think about it, 30 FPS is the point where if your frame times are perfect, as in a pre-rendered video, it will look fine. But in a real-time rendered, a game, it's going to look like actual garbage.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much it for topics. Let's just kind of BS for a little bit now till the end of the show here. So, because normally we do that at the beginning, but anyway, so I single-handedly, quote unquote, kind of single-handedly, fixed our Wi-Fi in our store the other day. You want to know what the problem was?
Right.
So I have been at my current employer for about 7 or 8 months now, and the entire time that I've worked there, our in-store Wi-Fi has never worked. You know what the problem was? You know what the problem was? Any guesses?
I can tell by your tone that it's a really dumb problem.
Oh yeah, it was a really dumb problem. Any guesses? No? So I call the support people, right? Our main support line, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got to reach out to this other company that actually handles all that stuff." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So that company calls me back and they're like, "Okay, so here's what we need to do. We need to move the network cable from port 6 to port 4."
Oh boy. Okay.
Because the firewall that it was running through, the firewall switch thing, port 6 hadn't been configured, but port 4 was, so it just wasn't handing out DHCP addresses.
So that's the only reason it didn't work.
Well, that, and then they had some weird mesh network at one point in time, and we still had that piece of equipment plugged in. So anyway, so I moved the cable over, and I was like, "Oh, hey, it's restarting." And the guy's like, "Great. Oh, I got to do a firmware update on the thing." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So the firmware update goes through, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, it's still not giving IP addresses to anything." And the guy's like, "Do you guys still have your mesh network thing plugged in?" I'm like, "What? This little white box thing." "Oh, yeah, that's still plugged in." "Oh, unplug that." So I unplug it. Boom, and it worked. So that's literally all it was. Move a cable over and unplug a piece of equipment.
And no one could be bothered to do that before?
Nobody had just looked into it, really.
I guess.
And I am the most technologically inclined when it comes to networks and stuff in the store. So at least understanding all the back end portions of it and things like that, how DHCP works and like subnets and all that fun stuff. So, but anyway, yeah. Ooh, so we're getting so where I'm headed off to in a bit here. I gotta head down to the church that I attend because I've been doing a massive network upgrade for them. Our Ubiquiti networking stuff is supposed to be coming in like this week, next week. So that's gonna be fun. I get to set all that stuff up.
Oh my!
I've never played with Ubiquiti stuff before, but it's supposed to be like really good, like prosumer stuff.
Yes, that's what I hear.
So I'm excited to play with it. In fact, I'm almost thinking. So I did a network upgrade in the house like maybe a year ago, and I'm almost thinking about booting my current router, which is still a really good router, in favor of Ubiquiti stuff. So. Anyway,
I suppose you could just configure one of those old toasters to do it.
What do you mean?
Those old computers you have?
Oh no! Like I'm actually gonna like buy Ubiquiti stuff.
Yeah, I know, but you could just configure one of those old computers you have as a router.
Oh, I've already done that with a pfSense box.
I guess you would need. Problem is the ports. Like they're probably 10100.
Yeah, but remember, I have that weird PCI expansion card.
Oh, is it gigabit?
Yeah, it's gigabit, and I bought that thing when I was like in middle school.
Gee.
I don't remember how much I spent on that thing, but yeah, it's got gigabit on it. Yeah,
fancy pants over.
In fact, actually, you know what that's hooked up to?
A gigabit port on it.
You know what that's actually hooked up to? It's actually hooked up to this box right over here, which is actually up on my screen here. So I've got my Linux box up. So for anyone who's never seen a Linux box before, this is so this is the Linux box that's in the house here, and I'm SSH'd in through PuTTY. So, you know what I just spent, like, yesterday doing?
What'd you do yesterday?
I spent yesterday writing, like, bash scripts.
Oh.
Yeah. To like, add users.
Did you have fun with...
Honestly, well, okay, so what I did is, like, there was a bash script already written. Because basically what I did the one that adds users to the system, basically based off a list. So what you do is you write a list with the usernames in it, right? And then you run the bash script and it goes and reads the list and it creates all the folders and the password and all that stuff, and everything. So, and I realized I'm sharing the password for what all the new users have here, but it's totally okay because I created another script.
To be
no, because you know what it does the first time you log in? Yeah, it makes you change the password. I wrote a bash script to make it do that. So, and the other problem is somebody would have to figure out how to actually access this box from the internet. So.
Oh, yeah, that.
So that would be a thing. Not that it couldn't be done, but, like, there's nothing on here that's, like, super critical, you know what I mean? So. But anyway, so that's
pretty much, yeah.
That's what I spent yesterday doing. So, but anyway, I should make a video on how to like actually sort of navigate through Linux. But yeah, all the little commands that you have to write and things like that. So, do you remember? Like, would you remember how to navigate through Linux?
I do remember a few of them. I remember how to like navigate around and stuff like that.
You know,
I mean, I Google a lot. Still.
You know what? If
that's fine. Like, whatever.
If you ever want to play around with that and just like practice your skills, I did create a username for you on this thing, and I can give you the information you need to actually get in.
Well, I have access to a Linux machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not configured like mine is. Like, mine's already configured and everything. With all its stuff that it needs. So, although...
I mean, it doesn't take much to
the web, like the web directories and stuff like that, that took a little bit of time to get up and running, but and Like, there's MySQL on here, too. Oop, I can't type now. So, MySQL -u. Let's see here. Hey, cool. So, and then this is the problem. So then I'm so used to typing like certain commands for like Linux. And then I go into MySQL and then I have to remember a whole other subset.
It's completely different.
Right, yep. So the one I typically use is clear. Like I always clear my screen whenever I type anything. So like if I navigate through directories, stuff like that, like I'll clear the screen when I'm in a new directory. And I always do that in MySQL as well, but I always end up typing just clear. And then it never works because MySQL doesn't understand that command. So MySQL is, oh shoot, what is it? It's system clear is what you got to use. So anyway. Oh, and I should send you a picture of this. This is my totally geeky new water bottle that I've got here.
Oh boy, what is it?
Hold on. So, ooh, can I do this? Let's see here. Oh, I have an idea. I have an idea. Let's see here. Let's just put this over here and we'll angle it a little bit. Function. Print screen. Okay. You know what I wish Microsoft would fix in Windows? The search function. Because the search function... What does it do? The search function? Yeah, it's absolutely garbage.
You know, sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah.
It's absolutely garbage. Yeah, hold on. Let me equip this. And then we got to get going off the show for this week. So, hold on. Boink. Boink. There you go. There's my totally geeky new water bottle. Can anyone say product placement? So, anyway.
What a shit.
Hey, you know, my system's got an AMD processor in it. Huh?
Those bottles
are what? Are nice? Is that what you said?
They're nice.
Yeah, they are.
They're nice.
So, anyway. All right. Well, we got to call it a show for this week. I'm glad we got one in this week, so it was fun. Like if you liked, dislike if you didn't like. Let's see here. Where is... Oh, there's what I want. So, yeah. Like if you liked, dislike if you didn't like. Comment down below, all that fun stuff. Yeah, we'll see you next week, I think. Bye!